And this is where I feel that Shlomo's influence, of being able to see past the superficial in each one of us, to see past the superficial, that every single human being alive is in the image of God, and to relate to each human being in that way. That's the Kiddush Hashem that we need in our generation. And of course, then the harder part is that part of us. I'm also in the image of God. And what about, and how do I deal with myself? So that's perhaps a big job, but I need the cosmic in order to go into the deeply personal. And sometimes I need more of that, and sometimes I need more of this. And that's basically why it's so difficult for me to share these things and for you to even hear me. It's like, where am I going with all this? What do I want? I want to say that it involves a paradigm shift to the next level of seeing things. That means that we go up a little bit higher on the mountain and understand much, much more from that point of view all the things that are going down here. That's where I think Ishbitz is so important. And it's not just Ishbitz, because I'm of the opinion, I'm not very academic, you can already tell that, is that Torah is an unfolding. And that everything that anybody in any generation says, it was already there. It was already there in the eternal Torah that's been given from heaven. And it comes into time, and it unfolds within time. But it's for each one of us to bring down these Torahs in the way that Avshalom allows us to do, to continually learn Torah, looking for those deeper entry points that each one of us needs. So whether we're keeping Shabbos and we need to keep a deeper Shabbos, or we're not keeping Shabbos and we need to ourselves or somebody else, I'm going to see my family in Los Angeles. None of them keep Shabbos after all these years. And they know that I love them. Every year they know more that I love them. Maybe when I was first religious they didn't know it so much because I didn't know how to express it. But every year more they know I love them more. And that I'm with them. We have to break down any kind of judgments we have towards other people. In fact, even when I'm dealing with people trying to teach Torah, I believe in Hashem so much that I don't even tell them to keep mitzvah. That's not my job. My job is just to bring a little bit more light into the world of that other level of consciousness that's seeping in, that's pouring into our consciousness now. The whole planet is undergoing a powerful development. And so every single religion has powerful things that they're teaching. Some I agree with, some I don't. But our teachings are so profound, so life-giving. And that's where I feel Shlomo comes in. And that's why, and then where he's drawing from, even though he didn't draw from the Lesson, he's drawing from these deep well springs that are there in every generation. So the verse says, Nora alila al b'nei adam. The text says like this. It's a beautiful text. I would like to share a few minutes of it with you. This has to do with the idea that we will only understand in the end what Hashem's thoughts were in the beginning. Hashem will only reveal the light of Keter after going down and revealing from Malchut up. And finally, in the end, reveal the thing that he wanted to reveal in the first place. Again, like I said, because if he would do it otherwise, we wouldn't have the vessels to receive it. But if we know this idea, then we give him the benefit of a doubt that he knows where he's going. V'chen al Shem yesodam v'tachlitam. Ki yesod kol habriya kula v'yesod Yisrael hinehem be'or haganuz. That the root, the foundation of Israel, of the concept of Israel, is in the Or Haganuz. Asher misham hu azihara ilaha de'adam rishon u'Moshe Rabbeinu l'shalom. It is in the Or Haganuz, the way he says it here, it's in the Or Haganuz from there comes the Zihra Ila'ah, the supernal radiance that Adam had, Moshe had, others had also. It says in the Zohar that Adam saw all of history, that Moshe saw all of Eretz Yisrael in all of its times until the final day. He had this, the Zohar says, because the Or Haganuz was shining into him. Even from his birth, when the light shone into the house, and the whole house lit up with light, because it says they saw that the Yeled was Tov. And Tov in the Torah is a code word for light, the Or Ganuz. Even from then he had it, but at the end of his life, in the last chapter of Devarim, in chapter 34 of Devarim, that's when he finally saw with the full light of the Or Ganuz. He saw from beginning to end. Shu Shoresh Yisrael V'si Batam. The Or Ganuz is the root of the root and the cause of what Israel is in this world. V'chen shamu tachlitam asher la'ati lavo. It's their root and it's their ultimate purpose. It's their ultimate goal. L'chen nidgala hem b'tchila. Therefore, it was revealed to them in the beginning. Kidei sheyid'u ma shehem. The light was revealed to us, to Adam and to Moshe, that we should know who we are and we know what our job is. And what was prepared for, and what eventually will be prepared for us in the future. But we didn't have a chance to rejoice in it for a long time. The light is always revealed for a split second in the tree of life, the first tablets on Sinai. If we were dancing with the Egel around Sinai, we didn't see Moshe with the tablets until he had thrown them down and they were broken. But they were there in this world for that split second before we looked up. They were there. The tree of life was there. Even if we didn't grasp it, it was there, and it's taken away from us. Why does Hashem work like that? In order that on superconscious levels, we have access to that, and even when in our broken state, we'll be able to return because of that revelation that existed, the wholeness that was given to us before we were broken. Ki bizehu di'am v'nidbareh lehem sheretzono yitbarach shemohu sheyusuvav et giluyav alehem ubahem rak al yidei ma'asehem u'me'orotehem. Hashem has this plan, but the deep thing about the plan is that He wants the plan to come about through us. That interaction between man and God, right? That we become agents for God in this world. And in Ken's, what we said before, unknown agents, right? Sometimes in the moments when we don't know what's going on is when we become agents for the deepest level of Hashem's plan. Even in Chabad, you have a text from the Tzemach Tzedek that says that a person who's doing Averos is redeeming sparks that a person who does mitzvahs can't redeem. This borders on Shabbatinism, and that's why the Baal Shem Tov was very careful to say that if you've done wrong, then just get up and come back to Hashem, and with you will come back incredible sparks. But don't ever do wrong on purpose. Don't ever do wrong thinking, oh, this is the way that I'll bring the final tikkun. Right? They were very clear on that you have to have boundaries to the best of our ability. And then, of course, it gets into the fine-tuning. I might do something wrong within the framework of a life that basically I'm doing okay. Know that that's also from Hashem. But I can't know it at the time. I have to do all I can to do only Hashem's will, to the best of my ability. And if I've done something wrong, I have to come back into tshuva. Again, not a tshuva that's filled with self-negation and self-denigration, and I'm no good. But, as the Ari says, my soul must be of such a quality that I had to go through this in order to fulfill my mission. Something where we're able to have a positive view of ourselves, no matter what we do, but not go into justification and self-justification and to go there. So there's a lot of fine points here that can't be developed within this short time. But we're talking about the attempt to know that we're living on many levels at the same time, and that we ask Hashem to bless us in our lives, that at the same time that we're living within the frame that we're living in, but we know that we're from a much greater framework, and the Yehuda part of ourselves should be given a chance to always do its self-cleansing, and yet the Yosef part of ourselves should be able to come into its greatness and know that we can truly do good things in this world and believe in ourselves. I don't think Yehuda really ever believes himself, but you have the Yosef that does. So to the best of my ability, I've tried to confuse you with of the depths of, because of, I want to deal with it on the personal level as well as on the level of Am Yisrael and on the level of the cosmic. It makes it much more difficult. But for me, if I would have only dealt with one, I just don't know. So I'm opening up for questions now.